Remember the time you took an online class? Did you feel like you were fully involved? Now think about a time when you took an in-person class with students and teachers. Which one really taught you something? Online classes are flexible and easy to use, but learning in person is generally better because students become more engaged, do better in school, and can talk to each other better. As a student in both online and in-person classes, I know the pros and cons personally. As online learning continues to grow quickly, it's important to show how it really stacks up against each other's opponents. I will talk about the three main ways that online and in-person classes are different: how well students do in school, how engaged and communicative they are, and how they affect their mental health. First, let's take a look at how about each way affects how well you do in school. Students who take tests in person always do better and remember more, according to a study published by Nature Humanities and Social Sciences Communications in 2003. The study was posted by Bandar Alfi and Steve Strong. This study shows that many students in in-person classes tend to do better in school than online. They have been more active and involved in classes, which help them take notes, remember it, and write it down. A lot of people, when they're online, just look at the information, and since they have it online, they won't write it down, they'll just review it on their laptop. A lot of people nowadays do like to take notes on their computer or iPad or what electronic device, which can help, but they are writing it down. See, with that, people just get sent slideshows and just review it and then think they know it, but really when they take the test, they don't remember much. And then another review published in 2002 by the National Library of Medicine was found that students in online classes had trouble staying focused and often had problems with self-discipline, which caused them to get lower grades. With that, they couldn't pay attention. They would forget the material and just move on to the next. They would just try to complete the assignments that they had that week and just finish it out and then go on to next week, probably doing the same thing, which is not helping them learn at all. This has affected a lot of students in many ways that take online classes. If you don't know how to handle online classes the right way, then people do need to learn how to. That's how you take online classes. You need to know how to take them. So that's why a lot of students prefer taking in-person classes. But grades aren't the only thing that matters. Let's take a look how each way impacts students' participation and talk to each other. Unity College says that in-person classes offer faster feedback, more in-depth talks, and more active group activities that inspire students. With that, I do agree with the faster feedback because when I was talking to my teacher in person, they knew how to answer my questions right away when I submitted something because they knew about it. A lot of the teachers wait till Sunday for all of our work to be submitted online, which kind of affects how you do because on the next week you're going to be doing something else, but then you might have not have done so well on an activity last week and you're going to have to redo it. It just helps a little bit more to know if you have to fix it earlier, sooner or later, so you're not ambushed with so much work at once. And more in-depth talks, yes, you can communicate online with the teacher, but I feel like it's also good to communicate with the person or your teacher face to face because they'll elaborate more on it. With online, you could just get an email and it just be like, oh, do this, do this, do this. But it's why do that, you know? And then active group activities, it's easier to connect with a member of your group in person. Online, it's kind of hard because you have to get their emails first, then you have to get their numbers, whatever social media or platform that you want to use. And it just takes a little bit more time than in-person classes would take. But according to EF Educational First, posted by Emma, online learning doesn't have the normal social interactions that help in a classroom, which makes it harder to make real friends in school. Which I do at the Graham because honestly, I have made so many class friends and I still talk to them to this day and hang out with them. And you don't really get that online because you're never meeting the person. So if you don't meet the person, how can you ever make a friend? Yes, you could get into contact with them and talk to them and talk to them and have like your fun with it, but it only lasts so far until the school until the class ends, and then guess what? You'll probably never reach out to them again. But in person, I've met a lot of friends and stayed in contact with them. But not only does it affect schoolwork and communication, but it also has an effect on emotional health. Islam Majou, a writer who posted in the RSIS International in 2002, found that students think learning in person is more organized and mentally stimulating, while students who learn online often feel alone and stressed. To touch upon on that, I do agree with that statement because online classes, you do have to learn the material yourself. No teacher is presenting it to you. Maybe they'll send you lecture videos, but most students just look over the notes. Because I can say I have done that in the past. I've been better, and now online classes, I look over the notes while the teacher's presenting it on a video. But that's just how I work online classes. A lot of students who are online classes don't like to do that and just will brush it over, take the notes really fast, and then just do the work and then complete it. While in-person classes, the teacher will present you with the notes in the lectures, making sure you have the information, any questions that you have about it, and it just is better. You're not feeling stressed and alone doing it because you have your classmates and you have the teacher for backup advice. Yes, you do have your teacher online, but it's not the same when having an in-person connection with your teacher and getting to know their feelings and thoughts about the class and the lecture, and not feeling alone because you have someone to talk to in person. Like I said before, it's very hard to make friends online classes because you don't have any contact with them in person. You won't meet them to their face unless you guys meet up and you guys connect to each other online, but that's only if you do that and put the effort, which most students do online do not, because they just don't feel like doing the work because they don't have time, because they avoid it. So that's why it's stressful for online classes, because students just brush it off. While in person, you can't brush it off. You have people there to help you and have like a support on your back. That's how I feel about online versus in person. The same study shows that learning in person helps students handle their time and avoid distractions, which are two very important skills for doing work in school. Like I said before, there's a lot of distractions that come in when doing an online class. You just push it off to the side and we'll do it later. Later is going to be until the due date, while in person, the due date is that date. You're going to take the notes there and then, and whatever homework you're given by the teacher, you will have to do it by that day. And most students like to do their work once they have the notes fresh in their head. There are some benefits to learning online, but generally learning in person is better for helping students succeed and grow. We looked into how going to class in person can help students do better in school, be more engaged, and feel better mentally. As our world becomes more tech-based, let's not forget about the value of human connections, structure, and real-time contact. All these factors contribute to the importance of preserving face-to-face learning.